So when we experience expansion, so you have a breakthrough, something coming up, the natural rhythm is to go into contraction. So it's expected and it's likely to happen that after, let's say, an experience like these 2 days where you open your heart, when you feel heard, when you feel things are coming together, to feel really not well in the days that follow. So just, catch yourself and be kind with yourself, maybe even yesterday or tonight or in the coming days. If you feel that contraction, that is a natural next step after an expansion. So, let's talk a few words on heart rate variability. So heart rate variability is the heart rate variability breathing is the one that we've done in the morning for those who were here. So it's the 5 seconds inhale, 5 second exhale. Another word for it is coherent breathing. Yeah, coherent breathing, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. And that's called also heart rate variability. Heart rate variability is a key marker to health, one of the key markers to health, fitness, and longevity. So you really want to improve your heart rate variability for so many reasons. So what is heart rate variability? Heart rate variability measures the regularity of your heartbeats. A lot of people, they measure how many heartbeats they have per minute, and that's usually what you track at the gym. But not many people track how regular are their heartbeat within that minute. So basically, your heartbeat, it's a movement between your sympathetic activation and parasympathetic activation. So I'll be technical for a second. An inhale, activation, sympathetic nervous system. An exhale, relaxation, parasympathetic. When I'm stressed, when I'm relaxing at the end of the day, yeah. So the inhale activates, the exhale relaxes. Guess what? Most people, they are stuck in inhale mode. They inhale all the time, and most people, what they struggle with is to have profound and good exhales. So one thing you can do to improve really all your inner state is focus more on exhale. And often, there is something funny, but we say, take a deep breath. It always starts with an inhale, but your inhale follows your exhale. So one thing you can do is to bring awareness first on your exhale and allow the inhale to be natural. So instead of saying, you do same but different. So focusing on the exhale rather than the inhale, and allow the inhale to be automatic and the exhale to be controlled. Yeah. So one thing you can also do, just to keep expanding on that, is to have a double exhale. So now I go to the bottom of my exhale. That's a really nice way. Okay, back to my. Can you just give him a little bit, because he's. Thanks. So HRV measures the regularity of your heartbeats. Why it matters? Because what it does, it's transforming you in James Bond. So James Bond, reminding you, is the ability to respond rather than react. So basically, your version of it is you come home from work, you had a bad email, you're stressed, and then the kid is like, daddy, 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 and whoosh, or the dog or whatever, or your wife, or you're either emotionally or physically, you're not able to make the difference between, okay, I'm stressed with work, and now I have a problem with my child, and I'm not able to, or you're not able to be present with your partner or with your child. You're not able to go into this relaxation because you're still stuck into that email or that state. Yeah, so you're stuck into the sympathetic activation. So the more you develop and you increase your heart rate variability, the more you're able to navigate your nervous system from being active, going, because that's what you need, and at the same time dropping into deep relaxation. And relaxation and your ability to relax is one of the key markers to longevity and health. Yeah, movement, diet, sleep, and then there is ability to relax. Yeah? So it's a very big, a big one. So the more you are strengthening your heart rate variability, increasing your heart rate variability, you want to have a high heart rate variability, the more you're going to be developing your ability to navigate. Welcome. To navigate your nervous system. Yeah. So the good news is, the more you practice it, the more you improve it. So it's that kind of thing, that having a few times a day, a moment where you do this breathing rhythm will increase your heart rate variability in a very consistent way. So I'll send you the link to this YouTube video. Do it anytime you want to transition from a sympathetic activity to a parasympathetic. Eating. Most people, they don't transition, and they eat in a state where they're not supposed. So people are focused on when to eat. Intermittent fasting, everybody has an opinion on that. They will tell you what to eat. Everybody has a religion about that, but no one tells you how to eat. And you need to eat in a relaxed state. The American way of life of walking and eating, or drinking coffee in the street and having your food, doesn't make any sense, because if you're walking, you are trying to avoid danger, so your energy is outward, you're focusing on what's going on in the street. Of course, you cannot be relaxed. Another terrible activity in our modern world is to eat with friends and talking. Blah, 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 blah. Indigenous populations, when they eat, they eat. When they talk, they talk. You know? So try to develop. Of course, it's amazing to have friends, and it's amazing to have to be surrounded. And I have restaurant owners here, so they're not going to be happy with me. But maybe all you can do is say, okay, I talk with my friends, and I'm going to just take one breath, and now I'm going to give attention to my food and just be present with my food. And you can do that while being present. You can just say, hey, wow, I love our exchange. Let's enjoy our food, and we can take a few moments where we actually be present together with our food, and then we pause. That was great, and now I'm ready to interact again. Yeah. So, of course, sleep. Before going to sleep, having a moment of doing another 5 minutes of coherent breathing before you go to sleep. Coming back from work and you have had a long drive, and now you're going to be wanting to play with the dogs or be with your friend, or just having another. So you can have like 2-3 times a day a moment of transition where you just take 5 minutes of this coherent breathing. This will really have a big impact on your mental state, your health, your ability to relax, and know that it's one of the best things you can do in terms of longevity and fitness. Yes.
Question on coherent breathing. I've done a little bit of the heart math stuff, and they focus less, I think, on the 5 second, 5 out, and more on the breathing in and out of your heart and the visualization. So I'm just curious your thoughts on visualization in combination with the breath pattern.
100%. That's a bit more advanced, but yes, 100%. So basically, what's amazing with the breath is your remote control. And once you understand that, it really changes your relationship with your breath, because when you cannot focus on your digestion, you cannot focus on your heartbeat, you cannot change your heartbeat, you cannot change your thought, but your breath is really the thing you can immediately and always control. And once you put your attention on your breath, it changes your thoughts. You can interrupt the thought process, just bringing awareness on your breath. You can change your heartbeat. You can improve your digestion. So really developing that relationship with the breath gets you to access, it's the remote control to the body. And then yes, there is the power of basically emotion is energy in motion, and where your attention goes, your energy follows. So bringing your awareness to literally your heart, and when you are in coherence, when your breath slows down, because after a while you don't have to think about your breath rhythm, it becomes your default mode of breathing, then you bring your awareness to your heart. If you're interested, and I'll finish on that, there is an app I can call Mind Master, which is an app that is a hack of a meditation tool called Muse. Raise your hand if you heard of Muse. So Muse is some kind of a device. It's called an EEG. Maybe you guys have had those. Maybe and you've seen this when they put electrodes on your brain and then they check your brain waves. So it's an EEG monitor that measures your brain waves. If I lose you guys, raise your hand. Yeah, but basically, our brain is moving at different brain waves. When you're awake, you're in beta, and when you're asleep, you go on the other side. I'm not going to give you terms that are, but basically, when you're meditating, you're slowing down your brain waves, and when you slow down your brain waves and you enter this twilight zone when you're not completely asleep but you're not completely awake, when you're where am I, this is where you reprogram your brain. Yeah, this is what I shared yesterday, where literally if you can watch stage hypnosis on YouTube. If I were to do stage hypnosis with you guys right now, and then I would say, come on my little rabbits, and I would pull some dirty carrots, like rotten carrots from the fridge, and I put them on the deck. Some of you would come wiggling their toes, their, what do you call it? Tails, sorry. And then they would come and eat the rotten carrot, okay? Because in that state, whatever I say, you receive it as truth. Yeah?
The theta state? Or?
In theta state, yeah? But this is what we're doing when we are opening our phone first thing when we wake up. So and that's why we vote for the Democrats or the Republicans, and that's why we believe that vaccine is good or is bad. Whatever is your belief system is really based on what you put in the machine in the moment where you are vulnerable. Yeah, that's why they also put us in fear state, because in that state we're not able to function, to think clearly. We're dropping out of beta brain waves. We cannot think. We are scared. Oh my God, I need to survive. I'm getting some fear information about the war. And oh my God, I'm scared. I have to protect myself. Okay, and then that's exactly how control works. So you have to be really mindful of that by really staying away on unknown information before you go to bed and when you wake up. The best thing you can do to deal with anxiety and stress is to stay away from your phone before you go to bed and when you wake up, because you go too quickly from the rest state to awake state, and you skip the progression of your brain waves. Why am I saying all that? Because if you put this monitor as you do coherent breathing, you can stay fully present with your breath and see on the monitor that you are getting more of this deep sleep and theta brain waves as you are breathing. And that's what's really cool for my garden. You get that more during breath work than meditation. So that's what's really cool. And also your heart rate is lower after breath work. So if you do 30 minutes of breath work or 30 minutes of meditation, your heart rate is lower after breath work than after meditation for 30 minutes. Yeah? So it gets you in the deeper state of relaxation. So this is really how you change your mind. This is really how you create new sets of belief. So yeah, so that's that on heart rate variability.
A couple of questions. Can you measure HRV?
Yeah, so the best place to measure HRV is on the ear. I have a device that is the HeartMath Institute that you plug on your ear, and it measures your heart rate variability. The next place is the ring, and you can take it out and show him. So it's a little computer that has sensors and that measures the heart rate variability. Along with the sleep, I have one as well, and other stuff. You also have people that put it on their chest, and finally you also have it on the watch. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 in terms of quality of the measurement. The best being the ear.
Did you buy it here?
The ring, the HeartMath Institute, you can buy it online. Okay. HeartMathInstitute.com. The Oura ring, you need to order it from the States because they send you the ring to measure, to try first. It's a nice birthday present. The cool thing with those tools, they are good for beginners, and they are good to have realization, and we like to when we measure something, then we can control it, and we love control. My recommendation is to do it and then let go of it.
Yeah.
Also, so I don't use the Oura ring anymore. I don't measure it anymore, so I can. But it's nice to get you to start with it. One more.
Yeah, and so I like what you said before about when you're in a state, like you've had a bad email or whatever, something's happened to you at work, and then you come home, and so obviously you're in a different state, and you want to you're in that shock state maybe when you finish work, and then you come home, and you want to transition. So I missed that part in terms of, are you saying that if you do the right breathing, you can get out of that state and move into a different way?
The more you practice it, it's not like instant in that moment. It's not like a solution, but it's a long-term way of getting it in a sustainable way. Like you will be able to navigate hardship and things that are activating you, but being able to compartment it and relax. But what I suggest, whenever something is triggering you, is to release it. Like, oh my God, this, and you can't do that with your thoughts. You need to release it. So dancing, screaming, moving, getting into an ice bath, punching the bag, have some kind of somatic, physical release about it. Don't think you can think your way out of it. Yeah, the Einstein said you cannot fix the problems with the condition that created the problems. The mind created the problem. You cannot fix it with the mind. You need to have another perspective. You need to go in the body, and it's way easier. No? There was one question here, no?
I do have one. What was the name of the app for measuring the
Mind Master.
mind map?
Maybe I'm telling you something wrong. So now that I'm gonna check. But this is the one that I described that measures Mind Monitor.
Mind monitor.
Mind Monitor, and it's not a commercial app. It's a hacker's app. So it's a guy who developed that. So basically, he took this Muse thing, because Muse is a meditation tool that gets you to and it tells you how well you meditate. So it will tell you have 12 birds and 3 rivers. Okay, but it doesn't tell you the technical information. Mind Monitor, it will give you the brain waves and give you a report.
Does it require this device?
Yes, you need to buy the Muse meditation MUSE. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been doing breath work for the past 2 months or something, and every time I do it, right after about 20 minutes or so, I feel great. I feel just amazing. But at the same time, I'm also concerned whether if I'm being dependent on shifting my mood from low to high. Just like when I was dependent on cannabis before, whenever I was feeling low and I smoked, feeling good, next day, low again, smoked again, yeah.
Yeah, it's addiction to dopamine. So having a dopamine detox from time to time is good. Now, my belief, and that's from Gabor Mate, is to reframe it from what's wrong with the addiction to what's right with the addiction, what it does to you. So instead of saying, oh my God, I don't like that I'm watching Netflix too much, or that I'm smoking pot, or that whatever it is, because we are all addicts. Huh? Gabor Mate is addicted to writing books. Society says it's a good thing, but it's still an addiction. You know, and we all have this, and making money is an addiction, being famous is an addiction. But in society, you have the things that society celebrates. Okay, you make money, great. You work a lot, that's great. Society wants that. You need to be a good soldier and create. But if you are drinking, smoking, porn addict, this is wrong. But for me, it's the same. It's somehow something is too overwhelming emotionally, and I need to function, so I develop some coping mechanism. So once you go to the root cause, then you don't need it anymore. Now, my approach to addiction is, the way you can use it, is whenever you feel an urge I always say, just interject one breath between the urge and your reaction. So I'm French, so I'm addicted to French pastries. That's, you know, cultural trauma. So whenever I feel, oh fuck, I need sugar. You know, a lot of people are addicted to sugar, yeah? So I just say, okay, I'm gonna have my sugar shot. Not saying I'm not gonna go for it. I'm just gonna take one breath before I do it. Same with the cigarette, same with everything. And then I say, okay. And then next time I take 2 breaths. And before you know it, you've got 2 minutes or 3 minutes between the trigger and your response. What it allows you is to observe what was the trigger. If someone said something, someone did something, then you can start to have a conversation and have a bit of more awareness of what is the trigger. Now, if you have to choose your addiction, being addicted to breath work is okay. You know, it's like that's their worse addiction than breath work, you know. So there is also a part that requires for you to just accept yourself rather than want to change something. Because, okay, I'm like, for instance, I'm an anxious person. I don't have to try to change and to be secured and relaxed and no, okay, it's part of, okay, it's who I am. It's part of me. Acceptance. And not trying to, and a lot in our culture is about being different, about changing. And I find that it's way easier to change something once you accept it. So you accept it, you have compassion, you have understanding. Why am I behaving the way I behave? And like we were discussing yesterday, we were doing the game. I don't have a lot of shame anymore, right? I've done a lot of shameful things, but I understand why I did them. So I have compassion for myself. Yeah? And therefore I'm a bit more free from judgment to self-judgment. Yeah? And there it's way easier than to not repeat it. But yeah, it's okay, it's all good. Keep breathing. It's not a bad addiction. Okay, I want to continue. Last one.
One question. It's about HRV breathing. So you said it's a 5-second inhale, 5-second exhale.
You can play with it. You can you can look it up, but you can do longer exhale than inhale. So 4-second inhale, longer exhale, which will make you more relaxed. Because remember, exhale is relaxing, inhale is activating. So you can have 4-second inhale, 6-second exhale. You can have fun with it, and yeah.
Is there a benefit to do, for example, 7 seconds, 7 seconds?
So this, you need to build your CO2 tolerance. So it very much depends on your ability to be comfortable with it. If you are doing it, but it's strenuous, it's difficult, then you're not going to benefit from it. So you need to work your way through it. And if we have time this afternoon, we'll try to do a CO2 tolerance exercise before the ice bath. So let me fly, okay? So yes, there is benefits, but you need to have the capacity. If you're doing it, but it's a challenge, it's not comfortable, then you're losing the benefit. So maybe at the beginning, and if you struggle with a lot of anxiety, maybe it's 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. And if you, just to complete, if you want to know where you're at, you can look up BOLT, Bolt Score, Body Oxygen Level Test. That's how you measure your, so BOLT will be your. Guys, you're getting 3 weeks of training in 2 days, huh? It's a lot.
Sorry, just last one.
Okay.
I was going to say, this breathing that you're talking about, 5 seconds, this is only when you're doing a breath work. This isn't in daily life, right? Like now when I'm talking to you, I'm not
Yeah, that's ideally how you want to be breathing all the time.
I can't talk to you and do 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out.
No, but it's not. It's more just to, you know, it's like you create a memory, cellular memory of it. If you do it enough times, says, oh, that feels familiar, that feels nice. So it's really about just getting into that. So after a while, you don't need to eat anymore. You just do it when you have awareness of it. Of course, not when you're talking, but just take a moment now. You're listening. Okay, can I just bring awareness and just slow down a bit the rhythm of my breath and just see how that feels? It's just because it's the gateway to everything, to your heart, to your breath, to your thoughts. It's the more you're going to bring awareness to your breath, the more you're going to have awareness of what's going on inside. How's my digestion? Actually, now that if I focus on my breath, I feel there's something going on with my right kidney. Okay, cool. So you will be able to have better awareness of what's happening.
Yeah, I'm noticing I've been doing the breath while you're talking, and I feel like I'm just assimilating the information so much more readily. And it's also bringing awareness to how often I actually hold my breath, just in regular conversation and throughout the day.
Why? Because nose is connected to the olfactory system, which is the oldest part of the brain. So when you breathe through your nose, and when you take an inhale, and beautiful inhale as I speak, you actually retain information more. If you breathe through your mouth, you retain information 60% less. Yeah, because of the olfactory system. Cool, no? Okay. I want to fly through the explanation of the breathing technique, and then we breathe. For that, I'm going to give you some really fundamental information about the breath. Inhale. What's happening with my primary respiratory muscle, which is the diaphragm, when I take an inhale? Is the diaphragm going up or down? Raise your hand if you think it's going up.
Down.
Down.
Raise your hand if you think it's going down on the inhale. Half, huh? So, inhale, diaphragm is going down. What's happening? There is an organ that is attached to the diaphragm, that is moving with the diaphragm. What is the name of that organ? Lungs? No.
Belly? Belly?
Belly? No. The organ moving with the diaphragm, it's attached to it.
Because
The organ moving.
Moving with the diaphragm.
Is it the stomach?
No.
Liver?
No. Huh?
liver,
No. Heart, yes. Heart is attached to the diaphragm. Okay? So, diaphragm goes down. Then we have the chest cavity with the heart that is expanding because it has more space. So if when the heart has more space, it's sending neural messages to the brain, hey, we need you to send more blood to pump because there is more space. So you inhale, your heart rate goes up for that reason. Sympathetic activation. You exhale, compression of the heart, less space, less ability to process blood, the heart rate goes down. So now you've got the explanation of why on an inhale, the heart rate goes up, on the exhale, the heart rate goes down. Pretty useful thing to know as a human. Yeah? Okay, so that's the fundamental. Next thing to know, difference between nose and mouth. And I don't go too far in the noise, but these things. So when you breathe through the nose, see you have a billiard ball full of ants in the nasal cavity, and the mouth is a very small pipe with no filtration system. That's the tongue. Okay. So when you breathe through the mouth, you have no filtration system. If you have nose, you have a lot of hair, cilia in your nasal cavity. The role of the cilia is to filter the air. When you breathe through the nose, you filter bacteria, viruses, pollen, dust, all the bad stuff. We should have known that if we were going through a COVID crisis, for instance, instead of putting a silly mask that is making you feel that you need to overbreathe and breathe through your mouth, which is absolutely not protecting you. But when I was in the subway in Paris in the middle of COVID, if I'm taking a plane, I put a tape on my mouth. Goodbye, see you on the other side. And I spend whatever many hours, just don't have a mouth. That protects me naturally from anything going on. I don't open my mouth when I'm in a plane. And I don't touch the food. Okay? All right? Fasting is the best way to fight jet lag. So that's for that. You need to breathe in and out through the nose, because if you trap shit in your nose on the inhale, you need to let it out on the exhale. So functional breathing nose. When you breathe through the nose, you access the bottom line of the lungs. When you breathe through the mouth, you access only the upper part of the chest, and therefore you're often using the accessory respiratory muscles. That's why people have back pain and neck pain. Yeah? Stress over breathing through the mouth. I fly, no time for questions, write it down. 42% loss of humidity when you breathe through the mouth. 2 reasons of being sick: oxidation and hydration. Breathe through your nose, you will maintain the humidity. It's a regulator of the temperature. The air comes at different temperature depending on the temperature of the air. I bring it to body temperature and bringing it at, let's say, 37 degrees. When you breathe through the mouth, no filtration system. If you're out and you breathe through the mouth, you're going to be sick because you have cold air coming to your lungs. Okay? So tons of benefits. But there is one thing you cannot do through your nose, because otherwise, what the fuck? Why do we have a mouth if it's so bad to breathe through the mouth? And the yogis, they are really good at learning how to breathe through the nose, and meditators. One thing you cannot do through the nose. Feelings. Laughing, crying, orgasm, mouth breathing. Human experience is a feeling experience. Don't miss out on mouth breathing. When you dance, when you make love, when you're having fun, when you're in connection with someone, breathe through the mouth. Allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. A lot of time you see amazing meditators and yogis, they are suppressing masters. They know how to suppress emotions because they have been conditioned that nose is the way to go and you shouldn't breathe through the mouth. And okay, so there is a space for mouth breathing. Questions?
Oh, that was amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so now the breathing technique. 10 minutes connected breathing. I want you to understand the benefits, because if you understand the benefits, you will want, like Mohammed, to do it every day. Very happy to hear that. We connect the inhale and the exhale. So what we are doing, let's check what we are doing. First of all, we are getting rid of a lot of CO2. CO2 on the exhale, oxygen on the inhale. If I use my big pipe, which is my mouth, I'm going to get rid of CO2. So as I'm breathing, my oxygen level is not going to change. You know, it's going to stay saturated at 95 or to 97, 98, 99%. But your CO2 level drops. Okay, so you're inside your body, you have less CO2. Everybody's with me? After 10 minutes, your CO2 level is low. CO2 is acidic, oxygen is alkaline. You're changing the pH of your blood. You're removing something acidic, so your blood becomes more alkaline. So you are increasing the pH of your blood. Wow, who cares? Well, you should care. Why does it matter? First of all, and that's really cool for people who like to exercise, bless you, pH is related to pain sensitivity. The higher the pH, the less sensitive you are to pain. That's why for those of you who follow Wim Hof, you can double your push-ups after this breathing technique. So those of you who are into sport and they know how many push-ups they can do, or any other, you know, if you're not into push-ups, you can do squats or whatever. You can do at the end of this sequence, do your push-ups, and you will notice that you double your push-ups, not increase, you double. You're not stronger. When they say Wim Hof is you're stronger, that's not true. You are less sensitive to pain. Okay. What's happening when we have a panic attack? If there is danger, I'm getting a lot of oxygen in as quickly as possible. The blood is rushing to my extremities so I can fight the enemy. Like if there is the roof is falling and your girlfriend is stuck under the wood, you will be able to lift the wood. But if now she's stuck on, I put the same wood in front of you and I give you $1 million if you lift it, you cannot lift it. Okay, that's the power of adrenaline. Yeah, when you are getting in danger, you can run. So if you break your leg, but there is a snake, you will run. You know, you can. That's why, you know, when you are running and you twist your ankle, you can finish the race, and then you go home, you relax, and you cannot put your foot down. That's because the adrenaline is rushing in your body, and at the time you need to survive. So we will heal later, no problem. That's the power of the adrenaline. Write down if you have questions. Why does it matter? It matters because when we talk about lifting wood, we are basically ready to fight an invader. We are activating the immune system. We are prepping us to fight invader, but also viruses and bacteria. That's what's really cool. That's why this breathing technique is amazing for health. In the Wim Hof, they did a study where they injected 12 people with a bacteria called E. coli in a controlled environment in a hospital in Amsterdam. 12 people got injected without doing the breathing technique. 12 people got injected, but before the injection, they were breathing for 10 rounds. Okay, so about 1 hour. They got injected and they didn't get any symptom. So, and the people who didn't get do the breathing, they were having a fever, they were vomiting, they were really sick. So you really get a boost of your immune system, and it's been really studied. So every day you start with this, you are actually prompting your system. Says, okay, if viruses, bacteria, whatever will come my way, I will be prompt. Again, a good practice before you take a plane and you're in confined environment for 6 hours. Great practice before you go to the movie theater in winter in Europe where everybody's coughing and sneezing. You know? So anytime you want to prep. So starting the day with a natural way of boosting your immune system. And you don't produce cortisol. Because when you are stressed, when there is danger, you produce cortisol. But when you do this, you don't produce the stress hormone. So it's just good stuff that is being produced.
How is it possible? How is it possible?
Because it's not stress, it's you superventilate, you not hyperventilate.
What's the difference?
Superventilate is controlled. If I'm stressed, I'm going to be really short and it's going to be very shallow. But if I do, you don't do this when you're stressed. Yeah, so it's a tweak to it. It's controlled. Okay, so that's the first step. Listen up because it's really fantastic. CO2, I said it yesterday, the role of the CO2 is to help oxygenation of the body. It's a little guy that is inside the blood vessels, and when it sees the oxygen, it grabs the oxygen and it puts it in the heart, it puts it in the skin, it puts it in the muscles. When you have a lot of CO2, your muscles work better. That's why CO2 tolerance is so important for fitness, for recovery. Athletes, they all train on CO2 tolerance. CO2 tolerance means you want to have as much CO2 in your body. You want to breathe as less as possible, because if you don't breathe too much, if you keep the CO2, then you will not have muscle ache after exercising. You will not be tired after exercising. You will feel more, you have more energy, all these things. So why on earth is it beneficial to do this superventilation when I'm getting rid of CO2? It means there is less oxygenation of my body. Listen up, it's amazing. One organ that is getting less oxygen as well is the brain. That's why you get dizzy, you get lightheaded when you do breath work. Okay? Which part of the brain is going to be oxygenated is the central part. The limbic brain, the oldest part of the brain, brain stem, those they need to function. Otherwise, the heart stops working, everything, the machine. So, but there is a part of the brain which is useless, which is the whole front of your brain, which is what you think about your mother, what you're going to do tonight, and what people think about you. This is useless. You can live without it for a few hours and everything will be fine. Thank you, Mom. And I don't need to choose persona for dinner tonight. A little bit promotion. So that's why we cry when we do breath work, because we shut down the inhibition center. We don't care about what people, if I allow yourself to be vulnerable, but in breath work, we shut down that part so we can be way more present, the Holy Grail. So you are more present. You are not in your thoughts. You're not thinking about the future. You're not stuck in the past, and you're not focused on what people are thinking about you.
Is that the prefrontal cortex?
Yeah, that's the prefrontal cortex. So that's what's amazing. Imagine you start the day fully present, and you don't have to meditate for 15 years to access it. You just need to overbreathe. Okay?
But this is in the case of mouth breathing, what you explained just now. Or
Both.
HRV.
Both. This is both. But you want to overbreathe. You want to breathe. You want to breathe more. It's nothing to do with HRV.
But I don't understand why this being present and suppressed emotions coming up is related.
If you are the relation between overbreathing and emotion
being
release.
Present and emotions just
Why the emotions
coming up? Yeah.
It's two different circuits. The emotions being released is through the circulation of prana. Is the energy moving in the body? So because when you breathe, you have a natural pause after the exhale. No one breathes in a connected way. We inhale, we exhale, we hold our breath. We take an inhale, we exhale, we hold our breath. But in our technique, we don't pause. So all of a sudden now, the energy flows in the body. And when the energy flows, it goes in place where the energy has been stuck. So all of a sudden, things are moving. And people will describe sensations in the body. And you start putting your hand and you start saying, oh my God, something in my shoulder is there. Yeah? So all of a sudden, the muscular tension, which is the first layer of protection of the emotion, it's the muscular tension, it gets to be released. Yeah? Okay, I want to continue, guys, because we have a big day. Step 2 is even better. We start holding our breath. Now, this is really where the true healing happens. The urge to breathe depends on your CO2 level. Why we breathe is to get rid of CO2. Because I've done my over-breathing, my CO2 is low on the first phase. Remember that? So it's going to take a while before we hit the threshold where we need to breathe. That's why if I ask you to hold your breath now, you're going to hold your breath for 30 seconds. But if we do 10, I don't have time, unfortunately, but you can do it at home. If you do 10 times and you hold your breath, you're going to double your breath hold time. Double it. Just by doing 10 connected breaths. Again, if I do, I'm going to hold my breath for 30 seconds. If I do 10 times, I'm going to hold my breath for 1 minute. I double it. So now you're doing it for 10 minutes. My friends, you're going to hold your breath for a long time. Why does it matter? For the first minute and a half, nothing's happening to your oxygen level. It stays saturated. But after a minute and a half, it starts dropping dramatically, very fast. Your oxygen level can drop to 40%. Means there is only 40% oxygen being available in the body. Any doctor sees that, it sends you in emergency care unit. This is like, wow, how you? But the difference is we are doing in control. We are doing it consciously. I'm consciously, for a short moment, reducing the oxygen in the body. Hence the tingling sensation, hence the lightheadedness, and because all of a sudden there is no oxygen. So the body now is going into auto power, auto save mode. He has to decide who gets the oxygen. Again, you're fully present when you hold your breath. You don't have thoughts anymore. And another amazing thing happened, another thing which doesn't need oxygen, is cancer cells. We can live without them. So you activate autophagy in a way that is way more powerful than food fasting. The people who figured it out, one of them is Peter Radcliffe, got a Nobel Prize of Medicine in 2018. Pretty cool. And you do this every morning, 4 rounds. How cool is that? That's why we need to over-breathe, and then we hold our breath, so that we can sustain a long breath hold and have a decluttering of our cells. This is extremely healing. This is how you don't get sick. Not only you have an emotional check-in, but you also have a proper cellular healing. And it's fucking proved by science. It's out there. It's nothing that is woo-woo yet. Okay? Then we do the shoot. The shoot is the inhale through the nose. So we hold our breath through an exhale. Now I'm going to hold my breath at the top and I shoot it. So what is happening? We are moving spinal fluid all the way up from the perineum, goes all the way up through the spine, all the way to the pineal gland. And we physically tap on the pineal gland and shakes those crystals of DMT that we have in our brain. That's what happens when you smoke and when you take DMT, but you can access it just by having the tapping of the spinal fluid. So literally, you see purple colors of the third eye activation, you start to have visions, and things are coming up. Yeah? So how cool is that? You start your day, you're also high. Okay? And that I took, if you want to, I found it in Dr. Joe Dispenza. Yeah? Now the best part is the last part.
But why through the nose, not through the mouth?
It's the channel that gets it. You can also play with it, and I'm not encouraging it, but if you take mushrooms, I do encourage it. LSD or any drugs,
5-MeO DMT.
you can really if I trip with friends, my trip will be 3-4 times longer than everyone else, because every time I shoot and I hold and I keep doing this for an hour, and then they're just relaxing and enjoying, and I'm just going back up there. So I really can prolong your trips forever.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, and that's how breathwork was discovered. Yeah, Stan Grof, he was doing LSD psychotherapy, giving people LSD and then healing people through therapy through LSD, and then it became illegal because the states were scared. And then he had no choice. So, when he was doing LSD therapy, he was telling his patients to breathe in a connected way, just to ease out of the experience. And what he noticed is it was prolonging the experience. He was not interrupting the experience. So when LSD became illegal, he removed the LSD part and continued and kept just the breathing and had the same result. So you have LSD therapy, he had the same result I was just doing breathing. And now they go back to LSD therapy and a mushroom, assisted mushroom, because initially LSD is a Sandoz, it's a pharmaceutical drug. It's not a recreational drug. Yeah, it was created in the context of psychiatry. Yeah? So the next step is my favorite part, and it's the one that is often missed, and is the one that is not in the Wim Hof method, and you rarely hear it. When you are finished with your breath hold, you remember you release through the teeth. Why through the teeth? Because you restrict your airway. You are activating the parasympathetic nervous system. Yeah, you're prolonging your exhale, relaxing. And now we do nothing for 2 minutes. The true magic lies in these 2 minutes. Okay, I'll say it in plain English. When you have a stressful situation, you have an exam, you lose your wallet, you're not sure if your hard drive is broken or not. And then you find your wallet, you get your data back, you finish with the exam. You get a rush of happiness. You feel, oh my God, I'm so happy, I feel amazing, this is the best feeling in the world, the exam is over, I found my wallet. You need to experience dysphoria, which is a precursor to experience euphoria. If you don't have the stress, you don't have the happiness. Yeah? When we are doing this breathing technique, we stress ourselves big time. Breath hold for a long time. Whoa, strenuous. It's a big workout. And then you do nothing. When you do nothing, you release serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine. You are producing happiness hormones. This is the key to happiness. You're not going to be happy if you always rely on external validation. If you are constantly waiting to have more money, more love, more sex, more food, more sugar, whatever it is, you're prompting yourself for misery, as John expressed, because when you are seeking pleasure, you experience more pain. It's a seesaw. Dopamine is a seesaw. The more you are experiencing, you seek pleasure, the more you experience pain. Yeah? That's why addiction doesn't work. That's why drugs don't work, because the negative effect outgrow the positive effect. Yeah? If it's done in an addicted way. But here, nothing. You just have 2 minutes of pure happiness. When you can apply that, if you go to the gym, you have an MMA fight, you are going to a hot yoga class, you are doing something, spend a long time after doing nothing. You are doing a HIIT workout. Lay down for 10 minutes and do nothing, completely nothing. This is where you are getting the real, tangible, emotional benefits from your practice. Most people, they skip it. They're done with the gym, get up and go on with the day. They miss out. Yeah? So don't miss out when you do the breathing. Don't miss out on the moment where you really get out of the way, you do nothing, you don't try to do anything. And yesterday, how everyone was so happy when it was over. No one wanted to leave the room. You were bathing forever into just being into nothingness and having, oh my God, nothing's going on. It's amazing. It feels so good. Yeah, so cultivate that, create that space that you've been creating.
It's like in yoga, Shavasana.
That's the most important pose in yoga.